Intro music.
Overview narration.
Doctor!
My name is James.
My name is Joey.
And this is the Brothers Padre.
James. The 2022 season is in the books.
It's happening, Joey. It's happening.
San Diego Padres are in the playoffs in the wild card round. We had the clinch episode, so this is old news to loyal fans. But we are in the 5th seed. But what a good 89 win season, James.
It was a very good 89 win season. I mean, so many ups and downs.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, we've talked about before, we just had the specter of last year. So we were just consistent all year long.
Yep.
Good pitching, good defense, good bullpen.
Yep.
Not necessarily the greatest hitting, but pitching and defense has got us there. And like, all year long we were expecting, is this when the collapse comes?
Yeah.
But it never happened. And it was, and we're in the playoffs, someplace we all thought we should be.
Right.
And never expected to be, I guess.
We'll have once our season ends in November, he says, after our clinching of the World Series, we'll have the episode to recap the entire season. We'll go up and down our whole season, right? Our season, as you are so apt to say, our season is not over, and you're absolutely right.
It is not over yet, no.
But we will recap it at the end of our season, which will be after the postseason. But we have to talk about the last 3 games.
We do indeed have to talk about the last 3 games.
The very important, not spring training like last 3 games, where Brandon Dixon definitely did not start every single game. I love me some Brandon Dixon.
I know you do. Escondido kid. I mean, what's not to love about anybody that identifies as Escondido native?
Oh, yeah. Love it.
It is the largest suburb of San Diego.
You know, and I think it's appropriate. His last name is Dixon. What's the largest reservoir in Escondido? Lake Hodges. Second largest, Lake Dixon.
Do you think, is his family own Lake Dixon?
Oh, it has to be.
Does he have some of that Dixon money?
It has. I mean, he was born in La Jolla. So he's got some water money.
He's got definitely some Dixon money. I mean, they charge you $3 to park during the weekends. Yeah. That adds up.
You know, you think about it. Lake Dixon is a hill. Is a lake on top of a hill. So I mean, they put a lake super high up. That's some real money. That's some real money.
I didn't realize that you mentioned that. He's coming from lake money.
Oh,
and that's nothing to sneeze about.
Yep.
Everyone knows Southern California is known for its giant reservoirs. Most places in like the Midwest would say, "Oh, look at that pond."
Yeah, not us. That's a reservoir.
That's a reservoir.
That's owned by the billionaire Dixon family.
Exactly. All right. So the last 3 games of the season, starting Monday, October 3rd, the Padres won 7-4. Joe Musgrove was on point. He looked super sharp. It was a great game. Our bullpen gave up a few runs. Game 2, we won 6-2. This was the biggest surprise because Sean Manaea started, and he looked like Sean Manaea from the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Where he was one of our best pitchers, and maybe resting him for a couple weeks was a good idea. And Game 3, I think the Padres just sort of like, whatever, gave up. We lost 8-1.
I was at this game, of course, because I'm only at bad losses.
You really are. What's the run differential at this point?
It was trending down until the last 2 games, and now I'm negative 35.
And you've bought tickets to the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Well,
But they're not Sunday and Wednesday games, so maybe that's the thing.
Oh, you're saying so you're going to break your Sunday, Wednesday thing.
I'm thinking a
get
Sunday,
it.
Wednesday thing, not a me thing. But
Okay.
yeah, Craig Stammen
Started the
the
third
game,
game.
so that gives you how interested we are in winning the game.
Yeah.
And it felt a lot like spring training, but we were in the playoffs. It didn't really matter.
But we ended the season with 89 wins, our fifth best ending of all time in Padre history. So you can't argue with that. We're in the playoffs, Joseph.
Yep.
Something that Bob Melvin and the Padres said we were going to be in from the beginning of the season, and we all sort of believed them.
Sorta. Yeah, we just been hurt too much. But we're here. And I'm very excited.
I bought some chips and dip.
That's right. That's when things are serious. When you buy chips and dip.
I know. I am.
Yeah, we're going to watch the game tomorrow. We're going to be anxious messes. I would assume anxious messes. Unless the Padres I don't want to spoil what I think the Padres should do. So let's hold off for a second.
Okay.
One thing that happened before we talk about the playoffs that we need to talk about was Will Myers had an awesome send-off at the game on Wednesday. Bob Melvin took him to play third, which is hilarious. First off, Bob Melvin has no idea Will Myers' history with third base. I thought it was funny he did that because we all know the Will Myers third base experiment. But he moved Will Myers to third, and then he pulled Will Myers off the field. And the Padres, the Friar Faithful, gave him a standing ovation. Made him he tipped his cap, and then they played a montage between innings, and then they gave him another standing ovation, and Will Myers was very appreciative. It was nice.
They took a photo in the dugout with the Polaroid. I know there's a lot of people that have talked a lot of smack talk against Will Myers over the years. Is he the hitter that they thought he was going to be? No. But he's been consistent. He's been consistent his whole career.
Yep.
Everyone thought, he's going to be a 40 home run, 100 RBI guy. Yeah, that's the dream of everybody.
Right.
But he was a 20 home run guy, 75 to 80 RBIs. He's going to hit 275. Did they need to give him that much money? Probably not. But his contract was proof that the Padres are willing to spend money.
Yep.
And you can't help. The guy did everything they asked of him.
Yep.
He played third base, which was atrocious. He played every position in the outfield.
Yep.
He plays a phenomenal first base. This is a guy that was drafted as a catcher.
Yep.
He pitched a few games for us this year.
True.
I mean, we were losing 1,000-1 at the time, but he was still pitching. So, the guy has done everything he wanted of him. I think if you look at any of the top 10 numbers of all the offense of the Padres, he's always on those lists.
Yep.
So, no, I think even if we don't re-sign him, he'll be in the Padre Hall of Fame someday.
Yeah, I think so.
If we re-sign him, which I think we should, I think we should give him 4 more years, say a $50 million, 4 years, $50 million contract, something like maybe $7-8 million a year. If he plays 4 more years, his numbers will be retired on our wall.
Yeah. He's
He's not statue, but he's number retired.
Yep.
And I've always loved Will Myers. He's in the in the teens of this decade.
Yeah.
Before the Machados, he was the only person worth trading.
Oh, yeah.
Even after we, got Kemp and Upton, all this kind of stuff, those guys didn't hit.
Yep.
Myers was still the one that hit for us. So I'm jealous that you got to see his last game and I didn't.
It was cool. It was cool to see, and I just he was the guy that was the first big person in this new era of Padres baseball, and I think that he epitomized someone that's just a great team player and someone that's just. I think as a young fan, he always played the game in a way where it's he always did what's best for the team, and something that's just it's really admirable. It's a very admirable thing to do. He willingly moved off first base because this guy Eric Hosmer is going to come in and just be incredible, right? He did so many things that he could have been way more selfish, right? And he just wasn't. And I hope that we get him on a cheaper deal and he sticks around because I want to see him around. He's done a very, very good job as a Padre for what his talent is, right? He is overpaid. That is totally true. But you didn't know. No one knew.
But
yeah.
The thing is, like, he was overpaid. No, and that's Myers' fault?
No, it's not his fault. I mean, it's also not his fault when the Colorado Rockies offer him a stupid contract to play there, which they probably will. Like, Myers fits the Colorado Rockies, like, how they run the ball club. Like, they might give him a $60, $70 million deal.
Yeah, for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, if that doesn't happen, I hope the Padres can figure a way to. Because honestly, how great will he be as a color commentator later on?
Yeah. I think it'd be great. But we'll see. But we can't talk about free agents. You know what I'm going to talk about, though? You know, like Will Myers, the last postseason we're at, the weird postseason, I like to call it. Like, he was a dude in the first wild card series. You know, he actually did very well.
He hit better than both Machado and I'm going to have to bleep that.
That's cool. I mean, he's getting hot, and we might see a Will Myers that is actually pretty good in the postseason. And
I agree.
And I can't wait.
He's big game Will.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. And so what's going to happen in that game, Joey?
I'm glad you brought it up, James. So we are playing the New York Metropolitans in Queens, in New York City, a suburb of New York City.
How many people do you think know that the Mets is short for Metropolitans?
3 people, tops. Like the guy who runs the History Museum in New York City, me, and you.
Exactly. And now you, listeners. The Mets are short for Metropolitans.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird history, right? Because they only got founded because the Giants and Dodgers left New York City to go West Coast, and then the new owner started a new team called the New York Mets. He's like, hey, I'm going to steal both the colors of the Dodgers and the Giants. I'll make a new team called the Metropolitans. Yeah. See, the truth is, I'm the person that runs the history of New York,
New
York City.
Wow.
I'm the docent there.
I found a missing historian.
Regardless, we're going to Citi Field, and we're playing the New York Mets for a 3-game wild card series. The winner of the wild card series will move on to the division series to play against the Los Angeles Dodgers in LA. And currently, the Padres are set to match Yu Darvish versus Max Scherzer on Game 1 on Friday. Game 2 will be Blake Snell, TBD from New York Mets, and Game 3 will be presumably Joe Musgrove, also versus TBD, most likely Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, because deGrom is hurt again because the guy is always hurt.
Yep.
And their other starter, Bassett, is a little banged up too. His last and Scherzer, his last 3 starts, he has like a 7 ERA. So the Mets right now as a city, the whole Mets fan base are feeling a bit down because they were number 1 in their division, second best team in baseball.
Yep.
For like the entire season. And then all of a sudden, the last 3-4 weeks, up come the Braves, taking the number 1 spot in the division, and the Mets just can't seem to string 3 hits together. Which right now their only productive hitter is Pete Alonso.
Yep.
And so we can pitch around Pete Alonso.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we're going against a team that has had hotter stretches than the Padres have had. Has
had colder stretches than the Padres.
And had colder stretches. But our pitching matches up really, really well. Darvish, pitches well against the Mets. In Citi Field, pitches super well. And, they have Edwin Diaz in the closer. We have Josh Hader. They have good bullpen pieces. We have good bullpen pieces. It's going to be a fun series. It's going to be a fun, from a baseball perspective, it should be pretty entertaining. And I think from a Padres perspective, it's going to be interesting to see the offense. It's all going to. I have a lot of faith in Darvish to pitch fine to good to great. Right, I do think he's going to be good to great. I think that's
National League pitcher of the month.
Right,
Yu Darvish.
I think that he's going to be good. It's all going to fall on how each team string together hits because the Padres are hitting hot bats right now. Past week has been pretty well, especially against the Giants. We're doing pretty well, and I don't know. That's going to be, to me, looking forward to this game is I need to see out of the get go the Padres being pretty aggressive because there's no especially against Scherzer. I guess we're jumping right into it. Against Scherzer too, there's no reason to. He's going to throw 120 pitches if he needs to.
Yeah.
Right. So he's not gonna he doesn't walk a ton of guys. Right. If he's wild, they're gonna not swing. But they're gonna. I feel like the Padres should be very aggressive at the get go, and get if they can get a run in the first inning, the first game, that might set the tone for the entire series.
I agree.
Because that fan base would just go into doom mode, and they don't have as much energy, and just completely change the atmosphere. And I think it's possible. Soto hits very well in Citi Field. Manny Machado is, Manny Machado. Josh Bell does well against Scherzer, has hit a home run against him. So I think it's paramount in the first game to get to Scherzer early, just to get the energy on your side, and then just to make a statement.
If we can knock Scherzer out in the fourth or even the fifth inning, that will set up the next two games very well, because if DeGrom starts game two and he's starting early because he's still sore, they're only looking for him to pitch four innings anyways. Yeah. So we might wear out their bullpen. If somehow we make it to a game three, Bassett, who isn't a long guy, if we can knock Scherzer out and win game one, knocking him out early and get to their bullpen, and then we can knock out DeGrom early. Because they're saying DeGrom might not even start this series.
There's no way. There's no way that if the Padres win game one, DeGrom has to start game two, right? There's no way.
I agree. I would.
According to them, it's that. It's going to be game three no matter what. That might be gamesmanship a little bit, but there's no way you don't start DeGrom game two, right? Unless the blister's really bad. Unless he's just bleeding like crazy. If
anything he touches, it bleeds. I mean, I'm not saying DeGrom's a wuss, but I remember a certain, pitcher with a bloody sock that pitched an entire playoff game bleeding out of his Achilles tendon. Just saying, there are tough players in baseball, and then there's DeGrom.
I think what's interesting, I think Max Scherzer is definitely a tough player.
Oh, Max Scherzer would play with a missing limb.
Yeah.
Max Scherzer, if he had a problem with a blister, he'd chop the finger off.
Yeah. I'll throw left-handed. Oh, my God.
He's still throwing 100 miles an hour. How is that possible? Yeah, Scherzer could definitely be one of those pitchers.
Which is why I think, he can beat you going long, right? So you might as well be hyper-aggressive for the first 3 innings to try to get something going. Because he'll pitch as much as he'd like. And I think, I don't know. Game 2 is interesting because if they just throw Bassett no matter what, they're conceding going to a game. I feel like that's them saying we're okay going 3 games. Right? Doesn't that let's say if they win, let's say the Mets win Friday. Wouldn't you want an extra day off and not between traveling from New York to LA?
Yeah.
But you're saying, no, we'll just throw Chris Bassett out. That seems so stupid. Unless, like I said, unless DeGrom is actually like unable to pitch.
I don't know, but again, the guy DeGrom is made out of glass. He really is.
I'm looking forward to Darvish and Snell. I think they both obviously have postseason experience. All the three guys that I mentioned, Musgrove, Darvish, and Snell, all have postseason experience, and so I think they will not. The moment will not be too big for them.
And they're also all aware that it's no secret that we're relying on them, and they know the hopes and dreams are on them, and they're all big game guys.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to, James, in this wild card series?
I am looking forward to seeing Juan Soto stepping up and just destroying. I'm looking forward to Manny being Manny, but I'm really looking forward to Yu Darvish shutting the Mets down for 7 innings tomorrow.
Love that.
Yeah,
I can vibe with that.
I want a 7-inning outing from you shutting them down. I want to see. I just. Is it bad that the team that I'm least scared of is the Mets?
I think it's just because of maybe, I don't know. I think it's so weird, right? In July, you wouldn't have said that, right? I think in July they're much more potent.
But we played them in July and beat them. We have the only team in the Dodgers had a better winning record against us, but we had more wins against the Braves, more wins against the Phillies, more wins against the Mets.
Yeah.
I can't remember what we did with St. I think we split with St. Louis.
Say again?
Didn't we split with St. Louis? I can't remember what we did with St. Louis, but we were pretty.
No, we won the season series.
Yeah, so the only team that we didn't win the season series of was the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think they're a good. I think the Mets are a good team, right? But our pitching is that good, and they are not hitting the ball that well. Right, Starling Marte is hurt, and they say he's going to be in the roster, but probably play game 2. But they just don't have as potent as offense as other teams do in the league, and
McCann is in this epic slump, and he was going to win the batting title in August.
Yeah. I just because of our pitching, good offenses don't scare me as much. I think for the Padres to succeed, our starting pitching has to be excellent and have to go long. That's how we win the series, right? We cannot, Darvish and Snell both have to go 6 and 7 innings.
I agree.
And that's how we win the series. Because if that's not going to happen, we are on the back foot of relying on... and the Padres, there's no secret, the Padres offense is inconsistent. Just the way it is, right? So when I look at our strengths, it's like the most reliable strength we've had in this season has been our starting pitching. Just get 1 or 2 runs in, let those guys carry us away. That's how we win against the Mets.
Yep.
And that's how we won against the Mets previously. That's literally how we won the games against them, right? It's just outpitch them, score runs, take advantage where we can.
If we give up home runs, make so they're solo shots.
Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to, the roster is not out. I was hoping by the time we recorded that the roster would be in, but we don't know who's going to be on the roster. But
Trent Grisham may or may not be on the roster. He had a family emergency. Mm-hmm. So, thoughts and prayers for whatever's going on with his family. But I doubt he would have made the starting lineup anyways.
No, I suspect it'll be what we've seen probably, for long. What we've seen a few times, which is probably something like Profar, Soto, Machado, Drury or Bell for 4th, 4 or 5, Cronenworth, and then center field. You probably have maybe. Do you start Will over Trent or Ozokar? Probably.
Yeah, for the first couple innings. Yeah.
And then you have Kim at 7, and Myers at 8, and then Nola at 9, or those last 3. I would assume those guys are the starting 9. I think Myers is a much bigger threat than Azokar and Grishamar, obviously.
agree.
So I think he probably gets the call, gets the nod. And I think that's the starting lineup for tomorrow's game.
And Citi Field's not that big, so you don't have to have the best defensive center fielder out there.
Right.
So yeah, I think that is probably the best bet.
Yeah, and I think that so I'm interested to see kind of like, does Brandon Dixon make the cut? Like, I'm interested. The bullpen and the bench piece are interesting to me, because I wonder if they ride with a Zokar, Dixon, Myers.
Maybe a Camp.
Who?
Camposano.
Yeah, I don't know what they do about. I mean, do you put Alfaro or Camp over? Like, which one did you? You probably do Alfaro, right? I don't know.
And it all depends on who hits Scherzer better. I think Nola catches Darvish better. I think
Noah's going to start almost every playoff game.
Yeah.
As much as I hate his bat, he's going to start every playoff game. And as much as I hate the fact that he can't throw out runners.
He's a more consistent batter than the other two. He can hit singles and doubles. He just has no arm.
How many stolen bases are we going to see this wild card series? At least 3, right?
Yeah.
Lindor's going to steal a couple. Jeff McNeil's probably going to steal one. I'm going to say 3.
Okay.
I hate that.
That's if they get on base.
Yeah, that's true. They'll have no base runners the entire series. 2 straight perfect games.
Hey, you know what? That would be the greatest thing ever, but 2 emergency podcasts in a row.
Yeah. That's what I guess is, I wonder, so Mike Clevenger is also not going to be in the, assuming not going to be the wild card roster. He's going to be in New York City, but he's not going to be the roster most likely, because he'll be the hypothetical game 4 starter, and there's no game 4.
He might start game 1 in LA.
Yeah. So I don't know. I am curious, and we probably won't know till tomorrow morning what the final roster is, because of.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're gonna go 14. Like, how many pitchers we're gonna go versus position players. I don't know. I wonder, and what's tough is like, we don't actually have a great lefty bat option. One of the things we'll talk about at the end of the season thing is, like, we never had. Melvin never got a lefty threat off the bench.
Yeah, I agree.
We've tried and tried and tried, but never got it. And so, and we still don't have it. So that's an odd place to be. So maybe we don't ride that much position player depth, right? So we'll see. What else are you looking forward to, James?
For this series, I'm looking forward to just. I think we should win it in 2. I feel confident that we can win this series in 2, and I'm looking forward to winning on Saturday, having 3 days rest, and going to LA.
Is it that many games off between?
Well, the next series starts on Tuesday.
Oh, look at that. Yeah,
I would say 2 full days rest.
Yeah. You win on Saturday, fly out Sunday morning to LA, chill for a little bit, have a day off on Monday. Yeah, that's the move.
That is the move.
Don't want to, yeah.
But there are other teams playing this postseason, Joe.
That's right. We did promise we'd do a bracket of AL. We obviously believe that the Padres are going to end up being the winners.
Yes.
Maybe you don't believe that. I believe that.
So here's the real question.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to win between the 2 red teams, the Cardinals and the Phillies?
I don't know, man. I don't like the Cardinals starting pitching at all. It's fine. They have fine starting pitching. It just doesn't really, like.
They have better starting pitching than the Phillies.
Yeah. It's just all going to depend on how well did that Phillies lineup, how well can they feast off 1 or 2 bad innings of pitching. you and I have been in attendance at a Phillies Padres game, and they just like if they sense blood in the water, that team destroys bad pitching. It's really really insane to watch.
They have the most explosive offense in all of baseball, but they're all hitting 220. So yeah, you can shut them down.
Let's just all hope that 22% of the time doesn't happen that one inning.
Exactly.
Which happened. Yeah,
they can blow up and score 11 runs in one inning. Yep. They are capable of doing that, but the problem is if the starting pitcher is not on point, like Adam Wainwright should not start any one of these games.
It's Jose Quintana and Miles Michaelis who's starting. And they're fine. They're just fine. They're fine pitchers. They're not like great pitchers in my mind. I no disrespect to the brothers Cardinals.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
a little disrespect.
They know. They know.
I actually have. I think I have the Phillies. I don't know why. And something about like Bryce Harper's back in the spotlight. He's been yearning for this for 5 years. Right? Kyle Schwarber, 41 home runs, by the way. We forget that because Aaron Andretti has 62, but dude is destroying the baseball. You know? Who thinks going to win? Miles Michaelis and his little cop face or Bryce Harper? It's Bryce Harper, right? He's gonna hit. Bryce Harper's going to hit some bombs in St. Louis. I know the baseball gods, the people that romanticize baseball, say this is St. Louis's year. It's not their year. There's no way. It's just that you can with that Phillies team when they are hitting, they're just going to destroy you, dude. And I just think Quintana is just not that. I just don't think he's that that tough against a lineup that can just really really destroy you. So I'm gonna say Phillies.
Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
I think St. Louis is going to win.
Okay.
I think St. Louis is capable of beating the Phillies.
Yeah.
But I think between those two teams, only the Phillies is capable of beating the Braves.
That's a funny way of thinking, but you're probably right. Especially in a longer series. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. A longer series, the Phillies offense is a better, more potent weapon than... But the thing is, like... The Cardinals are a lot like the Padres. They don't have as good a starting pitching, but they're really good at defense and they're a consistent hitting team.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of think I want the Phillies to win because I think they can beat the Braves, but they will throw everything they have at the Braves to win, and they will go to the final game of the NLCS against the Padres just all tired and beaten up because it'll take 5 games for them to beat them.
I like that. Like,
the Cardinals, if they beat the Phillies, will be swept by the Braves.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah,
isn't that funny how you think that way? I totally agree with that. Totally.
So I want the Phillies to win because I think they can beat the Braves.
I will say if the Cardinals do beat the Braves, then the Cardinals are the team of destiny, unfortunately. Like, if the Cardinals actually beat the Braves off a back of 79-year-old Albert Pujols and 130-year-old Yadier Molina, like, it feels like the baseball gods are tinkering a little bit. If I see Adam Wainwright throw 6 shutout, I'm like, what's happening?
Exactly. What is going on? But I think, legitimately, I think
you're right, though. The Phillies have a better chance of outslugging that Braves lineup.
And even if the Braves beat them, and if they take them to 5 games, they could wear out the Braves. I'm thinking strategically, what would be a better chance for the Padres to play in the NLCS? And I think it would be the Phillies against the Braves. So I want the Phillies to win.
I like it.
Even though I know the Cardinals are going to win because in a short game series, I think the Cardinals will throw every pitcher they have to shut them down.
Yeah. The Cardinals pitching is better for sure. But it'll be fun to see. Game starts tomorrow as well. Obviously, the Padres are going to beat the Mets, and they're going to beat the Dodgers, and they're going to beat the Phillies, and then they're going to beat who are they going to beat in the World Series? And this is where we go back and forth. We have a bracket filled out. So James, who do you have beaten? So there's 2 wild card series. One is the Tampa Bay Rays versus the Cleveland Guardians. The other one is Seattle Mariners versus the Toronto Blue Jays. Who do you have? Which series you want to go over first?
Let's go with the 3 and 6, Tampa Bay and Cleveland.
Okay. Which starts at 9 a.m., Pacific time tomorrow. So get your breakfast burritos ready.
Fun.
Watch some postseason baseball.
I think this series is going to go all the way to 3 games.
Okay.
The problem is Tampa Bay, much like life, finds a way.
Oh, it's so obnoxious. So obnoxious.
As much as I love the Guardians,
Yeah.
and fans of this podcast know, maybe if you've listened for all 2 years we've been doing this, my American League team growing up was the Indians.
Yeah.
Because I love Jim Thome. And I still have a soft spot for the Cleveland team. I would like to see them win.
Yeah.
Shane Bieber is definitely going to win game 1. The Rays have always been the biggest wild card in baseball because they shouldn't be this good, but they are that good. They have the best coaching staff, they have the best scouts, and during the playoffs, they just like, oh look, here's some guy that hasn't played baseball for 33 years. He comes up on a walker and he bunts a home run. This is the kind of stuff they do. It's like,
Right.
oh, it's Tuesday and the sun is at this degree.
Right.
This guy can hit. This is the kind of stuff they do. So this was the hardest one for me to pick. Okay. I'm going to say the Guardians. But
so you did the Guardian, but you obviously know it's a tough.
This one is the one that's legitimately a coin flip for the American League.
I think the Guardians are a super fun team. They are a super big throwback team of a high contact. They kind of remind me of the 2015 Royals, 2014 Royals. Super fast, high contact kind of people. They made up of mostly ex-Padres. So much to like about the Guardians. I think the pitching's really good on both sides. What is it? McClanahan and Bieber for game 1, and it's Glass now and to be determined. Probably going to be. I mean, they have tons of good guys over there on the Guardians.
Probably be that. I can never remember his name, but the really skinny kid.
Oh, Tristan McKenzie.
That's him.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
His name.
Oh, they have great pitching development. I think I go with I picked the Rays.
I knew you would. I knew you would
because they are so obnoxious. Because they're like, they'll beat you 2-1, 2 games in a row. Like, how do we lose that game? They find a way. They match up like crazy. You know, they picked up David Peralta, Wander Franco's back, and they have the true modern Reggie Jackson of our sport, Randy Arozarena. That guy
hits in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The only time he does hit is in the playoffs. Let me put it this way. Yeah. Much like I think the Phillies are the only ones that can beat the Braves.
Yeah.
The Rays are the only ones between those two I think can beat the Yankees.
Oh yeah. I love watching Randy in the playoffs. Everyone does. Everyone likes watching Randy Arozarena in the playoffs. And when you have a guy that's becomes literally Reggie Jackson in the playoffs on your team, it's tough to count him out. And
it is tough.
This guy has stolen home in a playoff game.
I know.
Okay? Dude loves the moment. So I picked the Rays to win this series, and I don't think it goes the distance. I think the Rays win 2 3-1 games in a row. Like, it's just going to be something stupid where it's just like a 1 inning, they got an extra run, and that's it. No blowouts. These games are not going to be blowouts. But I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I agree. I don't think they're going to be blowouts.
I think because the next round it's the DS. And whoever wins this would go play the Yankees. But what about the other wild card series, James? The Mariners, the Blue Jays. Or do you want me to go first?
You could go first. I went first last time.
Okay. And I was hoping for a Mariners Guardians wild card. That
me too.
Would be an awesome matchup of 2 super young teams.
If they both make it to ALCS, that would be the best.
That'd be awesome. The winner of this faces the Astros. So the Mariners versus the Blue Jays. This is an interesting matchup because the Blue Jays team, on paper at the beginning of this year, should have been the best offense in baseball. But they just weren't. They struggled. They did not do as well. But they got into the playoffs, and they're playing against the Mariners team, which is super fun, young, good pitching. They have Julio Rodriguez, one of the future stars of our sport. And they are, I think, strangely, the game one is going to be pretty well matched up. It's Manoah versus Castillo. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
That has to be it. There's no way it's anything else besides that. Yeah, Manoah versus Castillo in game one. And then it's Robbie Ray versus to be determined for the Blue Jays. I think I picked the Mariners, but I think because the reason why I think the Mariners, I think they've been a more consistent team. They have, I think especially the past few months, have had better contributions from their big power hitters than the Blue Jays have. And I think Castillo is just has found another level in his career and is just going to shut him down for game one. Robbie Ray has been doing well. But, I think it's also one of those series where, it could just be two super lopsided victories for the Blue Jays, right? I mean, that lineup, if it's clicking, right? Springer, Bichette, Guerrero Jr., Teoscar Hernandez,
everything that the Phillies can be, the Blue Jays can be as well.
Right. And if they come out swinging and destroying Castillo's pitching, it's going to be a tough time. It's going to be a tough time. And they're going to be playing in Toronto. And the Toronto crowd is pretty raucous.
Yes, they are.
Canadian sports fans can be quite insane. So, but I still pick the Mariners. I think the Mariners are a better team. I think their starting pitcher is better and more consistent, to be honest, than the Blue Jays. So, what do you pick?
I also am picking the Mariners.
Yeah.
Because these two teams are very evenly matched.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be upset with either one of them going.
Right.
I just think the Mariners, they have that X factor of something to prove.
Yeah.
And I would like to see them advance. Not just because we have so many our entire half of our family lives up there, but I legitimately think they have something to prove. They have a momentum going into the playoffs. But that's why I'm picking the Mariners as well.
So the winner of that series will face the Houston Astros. Do you want to do that one, or do you want to go back to the?
Let's just continue on with the Astros.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
So I picked the Seattle Mariners to face Houston Astros. I think this would be a fun series. Obviously, they're both AL West teams. But I think the Houston Astros absolutely demolished that team. I think the Houston Astros are annoyingly still probably the best team in baseball, if not top 2-3 best teams in baseball. I think that team has an insane advantage because every one of their players have played at every level of the playoffs a lot, and they're all good. So I think Jordan Alvarez is a beast. I think Justin Verlander has found a fountain of youth or steroids, to be determined which one. I think it pains me to say I think the Houston Astros beat the Mariners.
I can't pick the Astros to win anything.
Right.
Even though your logic is sound, reasonable, and will definitely be true. Right. I'm going to pick the Mariners because I hate the Astros so much. The fact that they're the fact that they're the best team in the American League, still upsets me that they cheated for so many years because they didn't need to.
Right.
This upsets me so much. Like if this was a Houston Astro team with none of those players from the scandal on it, I would be okay with saying the Astros. But since they still have 80% of their team from that time, no, I can't. I can never, in good conscience, ever wish them to win anything other than, Lyme disease.
So who do you have winning? Seattle
The Mariners.
Yeah. Very reasonable, objective way to quantify that.
Yes.
I appreciate it. Who do you have beating the Yankees in the other side of the AL bracket?
So here's the thing with the Yankees.
Yeah.
The Yankees, much like the Mets, are in a bit of a scuffle right now.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole can be beaten.
Yep.
Nestor can be beaten. They have a really good offense.
Yep.
But they were also predicted to win 115 games this year.
Yep.
They have fallen. There's holes in that lineup. So it would not surprise me if they did not make it. If they got beaten by the Rays or the Guardians.
Yeah.
That being said, I still think the Yankees are going to win.
Wow. I didn't think you would do that. After your impassioned speech about the Astros, you picked the Yankees.
I hate the Yankees. I hate the Yankees.
Right.
But the Yankees, as far as I know, have never cheated for multiple years in a row.
That's true.
And then obnoxiously were like, well, we didn't need to cheat. Well, you still did.
Yeah.
You still did. You got none of your players got punished for it. None of them did.
Yeah.
Your organization got $1 million fine. Oh, wow. What can a billionaire do? It as much as I hate the Yankees, as much as I think they're an obnoxious team, I an all good. I cannot. They're still a good team. They're not cheaters.
Right. I have the Rays beating the Yankees.
If any team could beat the Yankees, it would be the Rays.
I think they're just. There's something about these matchups that I think the Yankees are not firing all cylinders, and I think if the Rays get hot against the Guardians and that weird playoff style baseball that Kevin Cash plays, matchups, like switching up weird players with weirder players with weird arm angles, it's just the kind of team that can beat the Yankees. Right? And I just feel like Randy's going to go off again. I think the Rays beat him. I think the Rays have, if Glasnow is actually back and McClanahan are pitching well, those two pitchers are way better than, their number. Cole, if Cole's struggling, they're just, obviously they're a bit better than him. But I think...
I am looking forward to, if the Yankees lose, to hear what kind of excuse Garrett Cole has.
Honestly, though, Cole could do fine, but they don't have, it's just two guys, Nestor Cortez and him. That's it. That's not very deep. And, the 3, 4, and 5 guys are just kind of, they've, they've been hurt or they've been got, and it's not big of a threat. And, I don't know. I just think in a 5-game series, the Rays can outthunk them in a way that's just the Yankees can't keep up with. So I have the Rays. I have the Rays playing the Astros in the ALCS, and you have the Yankees playing the Mariners.
I do. I think it'll be Yankees and the Mariners playing.
That'd be a fun series. That would be very fun.
It would be very fun.
Who do you have winning? You want me to go first?
I can go first this time. I would love to see a rematch of 1998.
Okay.
But then again, I don't want to see a rematch of 1998.
Right.
Because 1988 was a formidable year in my development, and it's a miracle I'm so normal from that year, damaging. But just as a sheer fun factor and bragging rights between our family, I would love to see the Yankees lose to the Mariners.
I appreciate that.
I would love to see the Vetero Cup go all the way to the World Series.
That'd be awesome. I have the Houston Astros beat the Tampa.
Of course.
So of course, and it'll be the Astros versus the Padres in the World Series. I think the Astros are just too good, and
Ultimately, I think you're right, but I can't pick it. I just can't do it.
I get it. You have principles. It's just hard to say that you have. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. It's gonna be. I don't know, man. I still think the Astros. If the Padres don't make it all, I think the Astros. I think they win it all.
Ultimately, I think the only team that can beat the Astros would be the Padres, because Juan Soto owns the Verlander. Yeah,
I don't know. I just think they're so good, and I think that. Yeah, I think they're so good, and that's just. And I think the Braves are a very good team too. You know, if Padres don't advance. I just think like the difference between the Braves and the series, World Series and the Astros was that the Astros didn't have an additional star pitcher. Well, guess what? They have Justin Verlander back, right? Like it's just, and
he's probably going to win another Cy Young.
Yeah, and he's 700 years old. How many times have I missed people's ages this episode? 4 or 5 times?
Well, you've never said them right. It's always been an obnoxiously large number.
Right.
But Verlander, to be fair, is older than both of us.
Yes, true. He's older than both of us. Makes a lot more money than we do.
Yeah, and he's married to a supermodel.
Yeah, so we're kind of winning like him.
Yeah, right? I know, right?
Very similar.
We don't have to deal with, supermodel wife. That sounds like it'd be terrible.
James does our bracket. We're looking forward to the series. We'll be recapping after every series. If something spectacular happens, we might do an emergency episode. We'll be watching it along with some of you folks. And
hopefully all of you folks.
Yeah, it's going to be nerve-wracking. I was trying to remember. 2020 was weird, right? Because it wasn't like you and I were like excited and nervous, but it was also like I don't know. I didn't feel this way about 2020.
Well, as has been pointed out, our first 3 pitchers for the first series in 2020 was Chris Paddock, Zach Davies, and Craig Stammen.
Yeah.
This year, Yu Darvish, Blake Snell, and Joe Musgrove.
Yep. Much better.
Much better.
I just remember 2020. After we beat the wild card round against the Cardinals, Jace Tingler being like, "Oh, our plan is just to throw bullpen games for every NLDS game." I'm like, I don't know if that's going to do well. I feel like that's not going to end up.
Well, also, people forget Chris Paddock got hurt after his start. Craig Stammen was gassed. The only starter we had that was Zach Davies.
Yeah, and he got destroyed. Yeah, much different.
Zach Davies is a great starter during the regular season when you want someone to give you 6 decent innings.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do. I might be a nervous mess. I'll probably be a nervous mess.
You're definitely going to be a nervous mess.
The Padres, it's just, listen, I know Manny listens to this podcast. He's one of our oldest subscribers.
He really is. We love the gift baskets, by the way.
Yeah.
Keep saying them, Manny.
Manny, when you face Scherzer tomorrow and he just gives you a fastball outside, just poke it in the gap, right center field gap. Drive in Soto, who also had a double before you. Just ease our tensions a little bit, right? Just you don't have to give us a monster inning. Just give us 3 runs in the first inning. I'll just make everything be way smoother. And you, Darvish, don't stress about it. But like 7 innings, 11 strikeouts, 1 hit. That's fine.
That's all we ask. Just be you that you've been. You be you that we've had all year long.
Yeah, that's all I want. Because that's going to help my mental health, my blood pressure.
Have you seen all the things about Daniel Camarena should be in the dugout just to stare at Scherzer?
That'd be so funny. But it'll be a fun time, and we're looking forward to it. And next time we'll be recapping a playoff series. How fun is that?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, go Padres.
Go Padres.
And there it is! Ho-ho, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby!